I want you to hit me as hard as you can.
Are you ready for some action? That sweet, sweet action? Welcome to Real Action, where we take a look at some of the best action movies of the 80s and 90s, with the biggest stars, the biggest muscles, and the best one-liners a production budget can buy.
Water's wet, the sky's blue, women have secrets. Who gives a fuck?
For the very first episode, there's really only one place to start, right? Arnold Schwarzenegger in the 1985 vengeance flick Commando. This is what I like to call peak Schwarzenegger. This was long before he had started to soften his image with comedies like Kindergarten Cop and Twins, and featured the future Governator at his most jacked up and monosyllabic. Arnold at his very best. Commando may have been the first time for a lot of people to see Arnold play a regular guy. Well, as regular as a guy can be with the awesome name John Matrix. Arnold had been Terminator and Conan the Barbarian a couple of times by then, but John Matrix was just a soldier, a seemingly invulnerable, unstoppable war machine, but still just a guy who wants to get away from war and take care of his young daughter, played by Alyssa Milano in only her second movie role. I'll save the lame who's the boss jokes for when we get to the Double Dragon portion of this series.
You must first change course or you risk being shot down.
Think about it. 1985 was the same year as Rambo First Blood Part 2, launching a cinematic rivalry between Arnold and Sly Stallone that would last decades. These two hated one another back in the day.
And then Schwarzenegger, I've read that you guys actually hated each other for a while.
Well, we were very competitive. Yeah, I think hate's a good word.
And it's easy to see why. They were basically doing the same thing and competing to see who could look coolest and blow the most stuff up.
I really respect this guy. I think he's brilliant. What he's done, what he's accomplished. He's had 3 different careers.
Oh, he's great.
But I wanted to strangle him. We wanted to strangle him.
That's cool. John Rambo, John Matrix, soldiers who want peace but forever fueled by war. While Rambo has the legacy behind it, I'm here to tell you that Commando was the better movie that year. Fight me.
Yeah?
Where's Sully?
In the shower?
Commando finds Arnold flexing his muscles. Literally the first thing we see of him is a baseball-sized bicep as retired Colonel John Matrix. He's gone off the grid with his daughter, but that doesn't stop the military from seeking him out anyway. It seems someone, in this case Arnold's future Predator pal Bill Duke, has been killing off members of his old unit, and Matrix is next. They kidnap his kid and force Matrix to commit a political assassination in order to get her back. Matrix isn't having it, and breaks out the big guns, literally, to get his daughter back. This was 1985, and action movies were king. Arnold was pretty much near the top of the heap at this point, and Commando would go a long way in cementing that status. But let's be real, it's a pretty ridiculous action flick, and that is one reason why it's great. There's no point in which anybody takes the movie seriously. But don't tell that to Arnold, who at this point has not mastered the finer points of facial expressions. If he smiled, his face might crack. Somehow he manages to stay stone-faced while Matrix swings across shopping malls like Tarzan and drops some of the corniest one-liners in movie history.
I eat green berets for breakfast.
You're a funny guy, Sully. I like you. That's why I'm going to kill you last.
But it is not the most important thing in your life right now. But what is important is gravity.
And the classic "I'll be back" is right here.
I'll be back, Benny. I wanted to use the real thing. Jenny.
Behind the camera was Mark L. Lester, a prolific filmmaker in the 70s and 80s, with films like Firestarter, Class of 1984, Armed and Dangerous, and the Dolph Lundgren, Brandon Lee cult classic Showdown in Little Tokyo. He was working from a script written by Jeff Loeb, who would later go on to lead Marvel TV, and who had originally planned the movie to be about an Israeli soldier who had renounced violence. But incoming writer Steven D'Souza, rightly figuring Arnold probably couldn't pull something like that off, reworked it to suit the Austrian bodybuilder. The score was nothing to write home about, but I'm pretty sure legendary composer James Horner ripped off his own music from 48 Hours. If you're going to steal from anybody, I'm not going to lie to you. Commando is basically a showcase for Arnold to wreck things with his bare hands and crack jokes. He tears apart cars, flips cars like they were pogs, tosses phone booths. When not displaying his Herculean strength, he's a one-man army practically writing the action movie cliché playbook. I think Commando did more to help rocket launcher business than any movie in history. Illegal arms dealers must have loved it. Arnold doesn't have much in the way of a credible adversary, but character actor Vernon Wells comes close as Bennett. While decked out in his inexplicable cargo net vest, Wells captures the over-the-top mania that is Commando, and even makes for a somewhat credible physical threat towards the end. Dan Hedaya is also there as an ex-South American dictator, and the aforementioned Bill Duke gets the movie started off right with a trio of laughable kills to his credit. That garbage man gimmick always kills. Best kill. Arnold cuts through waves of random soldiers like a hot knife through warm butter. But the hottest kill, and one of the great all-time corny one-liners, was saved for the big baddie himself.
Let off some steam, Bennett.
Coolest action scene. Cheesiest one-liner. It's tough to go through Commando and not stumble over all of the terrible one-liners it drops on you like a ton of bricks. Imagine having breakfast with Arnold and he hits you with this bad boy.
Why not they just call him Girl George? It will cut down all the confusion, I think.
Best blooper. Commando has more bloopers than Arnold has pecs. From visible crew members to self-repairing cars. But my personal favorite is the visible springboards used to launch soldiers into the air after they get blown up. Drinking game, get plastered by downing a shot every time John Matrix displays superhuman abilities. Superhuman sense of smell.
Think I can smell them coming?
I did.
Or superhuman strength. Kill count. Arnold racks up a career-best 81 kills in Commando. Stallone only has 51 in Rambo First Blood Part 2. Pfft, sissy. Commando proved to be a big hit, earning $57 million, which landed it in the top 10 for R-rated movies in 1985. Over time, I think it's been somewhat lost behind Arnold's future movies like Predator and The Running Man, two of my all-time favorites, and of course Terminator 2 and True Lies. But Commando shouldn't be ignored. If you're a fan of the testosterone-fueled movies of the era, this is one that can't be missed. Commando is a total blast, even with all of its corny charms. 9 out of 10 Stallones. I think co-star Ray Don Chung probably sums up Commando and that time period best.
I can't believe this macho bullshit.